Nobody told Megan what to expect when she walked into that rescue. Not the staff, not the paperwork, not the warning sign on the kennel door that said, "Approach with caution." What she found instead was a 150-pound Presa Canario sitting with his back to the world, facing the corner, like a dog who had already made peace with being invisible. His name was Bruno, and he had been returned 3 times. What happened the moment Megan sat down on the concrete floor next to him, nobody in that building was prepared for. His name was Bruno, a 150-pound Presa Canario with a brindle coat so dark it looked almost black in low light, and a chest so broad that when he breathed, you could see the whole room shift around him. He was 4 years old when Megan found him, pressed into the back corner of Kennel 7 at a small rescue outside of Nashville, Tennessee, facing the wall with his tail completely still. She almost kept walking. Almost. Bruno had been returned 3 times in 2 years. The first family gave him back after 5 days. Too big, they said, too aware, too much like having another person in the house who never looked away. The second family lasted 11 days before their landlord threatened eviction. The third family didn't even make it to a week. They said he stood outside their bedroom door every night and stared at the gap underneath it, and it made them feel watched. The rescue director, a man named Paul, pulled Megan aside before she got close. He told her Bruno had stopped engaging with visitors 6 weeks ago, stopped walking to the front of the kennel, stopped doing much of anything except waiting for a day to end so the next one could start. Megan asked if she could go in. Paul hesitated. Then he handed her the key. She didn't call Bruno's name. She didn't reach out her hand or make a sound. She just sat down on the floor about 4 feet away from him and stayed there. Bruno didn't turn around for a long time. 3 minutes, maybe 4. Then his head moved, just slightly, like he was listening for something he didn't quite trust yet. Then he turned. He looked at her the way dogs look at people when they're deciding something important. Then he walked over, slowly, and pressed the full weight of his enormous head against her shoulder. Megan didn't move. She didn't speak. She just let him stay. Paul, watching through the kennel window, said later it was the first time in 6 weeks he had seen Bruno move toward anyone at all. Megan signed the papers 40 minutes later. The first month was its own education. Bruno didn't know how to exist in a home that wasn't temporary. He slept lightly, always, the kind of sleep that snaps open at the smallest sound. Megan woke at 3:19 a.m. the first Tuesday to find him standing in the hallway outside her bedroom door, perfectly still, ears forward, listening to something she couldn't hear. Not threatening, not anxious, just present, the way only a dog stands who has decided that someone in this house is worth protecting and isn't sure yet if they know that. She started leaving her bedroom door open. By the second week, he was sleeping across the threshold, half in, half out, like a compromise he had negotiated with himself. By the 5th week, the threshold was gone entirely. He was on the floor beside her bed, his back against the mattress, his breathing slow and even, and for the first time since she'd brought him home, he slept past sunrise. Bruno had a system for everything. He learned that Megan's alarm went off at 6:30, but that she never got up until 6:43, and he arrived at exactly 6:42 each morning, sitting in the dark, waiting. He learned that Tuesday evenings she came home late, and on Tuesdays he was at the window an hour early. He learned the difference between her work bag and her gym bag, responding to each differently. The work bag with calm acceptance, the gym bag with a low groan Megan eventually started calling his opinion. The neighborhood took time. A couple 2 houses down crossed the street the first 3 times they saw Bruno coming. A woman jogging past stopped mid-stride, grabbed her own dog, and backed away without a word. The mail carrier left a handwritten note asking if the dog could be inside during delivery hours. Megan understood. She had felt it herself, that first second in the rescue when she saw the size of him and felt something in her chest tighten before her brain caught up with her instincts. She understood that fear, and she didn't blame anyone for it. What she wanted them to see was what came after the fear. That stillness, that attention, that awareness of every person in the room and what they needed before they knew they needed it. I see you still haven't subscribed. That honestly breaks my heart a little. Hit subscribe. You'll want to stay for what happens next. The evening that changed everything came on a Wednesday in February, 4 months after the adoption. Megan had been sick for 3 days, the kind of sick that makes the ceiling feel too close and every sound feels slightly wrong. She hadn't eaten, she hadn't left the couch, she had mostly just existed under a blanket and waited for it to pass. Bruno didn't leave her side for 71 hours. He lay on the floor beside the couch with his chin near her hand, and every time she shifted or coughed or reached for water, his eyes opened, just to check, just to confirm she was still there. On the third evening, Megan's friend arrived with soup. She had never met Bruno before. She stood in the doorway with the container in her hands and looked at the 150-pound dog between her and the couch and took a visible breath. Bruno looked at her, then he looked at Megan, then he stood up, walked to the side, and sat down. He made room. Presa Canarios are not a breed most people think of as gentle. Developed across centuries in the Canary Islands as livestock guardians, they are powerful, perceptive, and territorial by nature. What that history built, underneath all the muscle and the mass, is a dog that reads people the way other breeds read scent. Bruno didn't need Megan to tell him her friend was safe. He had already decided. He had decided the moment she walked through the door carrying something warm. If this one is staying with you, you're exactly who we make these for. Today, Bruno is 6 years old. The couple 2 houses down stop to say hello on walks now. The mail carrier leaves treats in the mailbox on Fridays. The woman who jogged past that first morning asked Megan last spring what breed he was, then spent 20 minutes on her phone looking up Presa Canario rescues. Bruno still sleeps beside the bed. He still arrives at 6:42 on mornings her alarm is set for 6:30. He still groans at the gym bag. He still positions himself at the front window on Tuesday evenings, an hour before her car appears. He still watches everything. What those 3 families never found out was that Bruno was never the problem. He was never too much. He was just offering something most people don't know how to receive: total attention, total presence, the kind of love that doesn't negotiate and doesn't decide you're worth less because things got hard. Bruno was returned his whole life. He never once returned the feeling. Some dogs carry every rejection and let it harden into something guarded and closed. Bruno carried his and kept showing up anyway, soft in the same places, open in the same ways, choosing the same thing every single time. Is this loyalty or is this love? And does it matter which one it is? Tell me in the comments.